Hello friends, welcome to day 10 of the 12 Days of Christmas series. Thank you all for bearing with me as I get through these videos. Life is just crazy, you know? Everything is well, but just managing a lot. So anyway, we're going to do a Peekaboo tumbler in this tutorial. I'm going to take one of my designs from a while ago. This has been one of my more popular designs, I would say. It's my Spread Love like dog hair Peekaboo, and I thought it would be fun to make it Christmas themed. So I'm starting out with a 24-ounce handled tumbler from the Tipsy Magnolia. I'm giving it a nice good sanding to prep it, and then I'm going to start my painting and glittering process. So for this design, we are doing a peekaboo, but I want to do two different colors for the peekaboo. So we're going to separate out the top half of the tumbler and the bottom half of the tumbler. These two sections can be as big or as small as you want them to be. The top half of the cup though is going to have our quote peekaboo and then the cute little dog that we'll put on at the end. So I'm basically just going to let the tumbler guide me in splitting my tumbler in half. This is really easy because it's a curved tumbler, so the top and bottom are already kind of mapped out. But if you're using a skinny tumbler or anything like that, you can just either eyeball it, you can measure it based on how big you want your decal and all of that to be up top, and then make the rest of the cup your bottom half. However you want to do it, obviously, is totally fine. So for the bottom half, we're going to do a paw print peekaboo, and then like I said, the top half is going to have our quote decal and all of the other fun stuff. So I'm just going to tape off the bottom first, and now I'm like trying to get this tape straight, but it really doesn't matter because for the peekaboo portion, we're not going to do like a split peekaboo. We're gonna ombre our paints, so don't worry about getting like a perfectly straight line or anything like that. It does not matter. Now we're starting with the bottom half because I'm painting this my darker color. So for the bottom, I'm going to use red. Now I'm going to paint just first a base coat of red paint by itself using the tiniest brush known to man. And then I'm gonna let that layer of paint dry, and then we'll do another coat of paint with our adhesive mixed in and apply our glitter. Now for the glitter on this cup, I'm using a custom mix that my friend Jamie from Whatever's Clever Boutique made. She sent this to me a long time ago. It's a custom glitter mix from a friend, which I always love to use. Of course, you can use any glitter you want for your design. You don't have to use the same colors I'm using. You don't have to use anything that I'm using if you don't want to. If you just want to take inspiration from this video, or if you just want to watch this video for your own enjoyment and not make a tumbler using this inspiration at all, that's fine with me too. So anyway, I'm going to glitter the entire bottom of my tumbler with this red glitter. And now the very bottom of the cup doesn't matter. You don't have to glitter that portion because it's not going to be part of our peekaboo. So you can avoid the bottom of your cup if you want. I just glittered it because I'm in the habit of doing that, but you don't have to. So once I'm done glittering, I'm going to remove this piece of tape, let my glitter layer dry for about 2 to 3 hours. I did use the Crystalac glitter glue as my adhesive, and that takes a full 2 hours to dry. So I'm going to wait at least that long, and then I will seal it with my Crystalac glitter glue and water mixture, and then we'll move into the top half of our cup. For the top half of the cup, we're going to do this white glitter mix. This is Mount Crumpit from Chase Ray Creations. It's a chunky, like kind of matte white color, but it's got a ton of different colored glitters in it. It's really fun and dimensional and very festive. And now what I'm going to do is apply this glitter with my epoxy method. I'm using the brand new Flynn Sisters Artist Cure epoxy, and you can see that I've painted the top half of my cup with white acrylic paint. I did 2 coats of paint just by itself. Obviously I didn't mix any adhesive into my paint because I'm using epoxy as my adhesive. And once that's dry, we can go into this step. So for this epoxy, I'm using probably between 2 to 5 milliliters. I'm going a little bit heavier on my epoxy here because this is such a chunky glitter. I want the epoxy to help me keep that glitter lying flat. So if you put a little bit of extra epoxy, you don't want to put too much because you don't want the epoxy to drip or get too movie, but you want enough epoxy that it's going to kind of suck that glitter down a little, if that makes any sense. And it's just going to help the entire process go a little bit easier. So once I've got my epoxy on, I'm going to go in with this glitter, and you can see it's got all of those super fun colors in it. And once I've got my glitter on with my gloved hand, I'm just going to go through and pat the glitter down into that epoxy, and then the epoxy will hold that glitter in place. So when we go to apply our epoxy coats over this, we're not going to have a bunch of chunky pieces that we need to sand down later. So once this epoxy is dry, I'm going to seal it again with the Crystalac glitter glue and water mixture, and then everything will be totally sealed. None of our glitter should move where it shouldn't be. So I can go in with my 2 regular coats of epoxy over my glitter. For those 2 coats, I'm using the Flynn Sisters Fast Cure epoxy, and I'm using about 25 to 30 milliliters for each of my coats. At this point, our cup is smooth enough to add all of our Peekaboo elements. So for the top half of the cup, again, I've got my quote decal, and this is essentially the same decal or SVG file that I used in my original tutorial, but I did change it up a little bit to be a little bit more Christmas themed. So it reads "Spread joy like dog hair," and it's got a little Christmas tree on it. So I'm going to put that on the top half of my cup. And then instead of just doing Peekaboo paw prints all over the tumbler like I did in my original video, I thought it would be fun to bring a little bit more winter and Christmas theme into it. So we're going to do some snowflakes on the top half of the cup as well. And then for the bottom half of the cup, we'll do our paw prints. So we've got a little mix of paw prints, snowflakes, and I'm just going to apply as many of my stencils on as I can. I like to show as much glitter as possible when I'm doing a peekaboo, so I am using every ounce of available space. For the actual painting on our Peekaboo, I'm going to do a painted ombre with my spray paints. So I did green on the bottom to contrast really nicely with our red glitter. And then for the top half, I thought it would be kind of cool to do a monochrome Peekaboo like situation. So I did white paint on the top. We are going to outline our Peekaboos, so don't worry, everything will be very, very clear and easy to read, but I thought it would be kind of fun to just have the like super colorful white glitter, that's an oxymoron, but our super colorful white glitter paired with just the very simple glitter that we're going to put over the top of the Peekaboo. I thought it would look really cool, and in the end, it looks super, super cute, so just trust me, ride with me here. If you don't want to do the monochrome Peekaboo thing, you definitely don't have to. Before I apply my glitter to my Peekaboo sections, I'm going to take a Sharpie and mark all of my stencils just to make them a little bit easier for me to find. We are going to do a like tack it method glitter deal here. So the decals are going to be fairly easy to see, but I find that marking them with a Sharpie or a pen or whatever you have makes it that much easier and way less stressful to peel up all of your stencil vinyl. So I'm just marking them here with my Sharpie. I'm not doing any hot glue dots or anything. We don't need to do that for this style of Peekaboo. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to go in with my Southern Belle Glitter foil adhesive. I'm going to brush on a really nice thin, even layer of that adhesive, and then I'm going to heat it to dry it with my heat gun. I usually will either do that method to dry it or tack it up, or I'll just let the cup sit for like an hour or two, and then it's ready for this glitter application method. What you want to do though is make sure that it is dry enough that it's tacky and not wet. Because we're going to be like rubbing all over this glitter, we don't want the adhesive to be wet because then you end up with just a soggy, gloopy mess. You want the adhesive to be a dry, tacky consistency. And you'll know that you're ready when the adhesive turns from the milky white color that it looks like when you apply it to a just like shiny, clear surface. All right, so my adhesive is dry. I'm ready to go in with my glitters. I'm going to use two different glitters from Chase Ray Creations. I'm using After Party, which is a beautiful chunky. It's got a ton of different things mixed into it. So sparkly, so beautiful. And then I'm going to use my current favorite obsession of white glitter, Coconut. So starting off with After Party, I'm going to go pretty light with that glitter. You can see there's not full coverage with that on the cup. I want the main color to be coconut with just a little hint of that extra chunky shiftiness that we get from After Party. So after Party, I'm going to go in with Coconut, the fine cut glitter, and then I'm going to clean up all my stray glitter before doing this because I don't want to get any After Party into my precious coconut glitter. And with a gloved hand, I'm just going to burnish all of that glitter down. We are going to have a lot of excess glitter fall off the tumbler. That is okay. I'm just going to save that and put it in the custom mix pile. So you'll see as I'm rubbing down the glitter, we're getting a really nice shimmery finish. This is not a traditional look that you're going to get with glitter. It definitely changes the look a little bit. But when you're doing a Peekaboo especially, I feel like using this method makes it so easy to peel up the stencil vinyl underneath, and it just gives a really nice kind of like different variation in the sparkle that you'll see in the finished design, because you've got a traditional glitter look underneath and then you've got this like tack it burnished look on top. So it just adds an extra level of dimension, I think. I really like it. So once I'm done burnishing all my glitter off, we've got everything in place, I'm gonna go through and do peely peely time. Oh, I love it. It's so good. Makes me so happy. Now I know you're looking at this thinking, wow, you can't even read any of that. You can't see that peekaboo. La 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 la. Remember what I said before. This is the monochrome peekaboo portion. It is hard to read on camera and in person, I will give you that, but you can see it. And when we outline everything, it's gonna look really, really cute and cool. So like I said, bear with me, okay? So after I peeled up all of my stencils, I went right into another coat of epoxy. Because I smoothed this glitter down so well, I'm not really worried about any of the glitter pieces moving into our peekaboo sections. And both the glitters that we used for the outside layer of this peekaboo are very like iridescent, kind of transparent-y. So if any of them end up moving into those peekaboo sections, it's totally fine. You'll barely be able to tell. So I added 2 coats of epoxy over the peekaboo section. I used less epoxy this time, still using the Flynn Sisters Supply Shop Fast Cure though, but each of my coats was maybe 15 to 20 milliliters rather than the 25 to 30 that we used in our first 2 coats, okay? So at this point, my cup is totally smooth. The only sanding that I had to do was up at that top rim, of course, to create the little line of stainless steel that we're going to use for the final seal with our epoxy later. So now we can go in with all of our vinyl outlines and really bring this peekaboo to life. And I thought it would be kind of fun to do different colored outlines for the different peekaboo elements that we have on the cup. So for the quote decal, I wanted the maximum contrast possible, so I'm using a dark green vinyl. This is just a regular vinyl. It has no specialty finish to it or anything, just regular permanent vinyl. And then for the snowflake outlines, we're going to use, of course, I had to, my champagne gold textured metallic vinyl. And then for the red and green contrast, I wanted to use something that wouldn't clash with either of those. So I'm using just regular white permanent vinyl. After my peekaboo outlines are done, I'm going to fill in the bottom of my tumbler using UV resin and a green glitter mix that I made. I don't know what's in it, but it's just a traditional like Christmas green glitter. And I'm going to fill in that very bottom full well at the bottom of the cup. I'm not doing anything crazy down here. cure that under my UV lamp for about 3 to 4 minutes. And then the last thing I'm going to add is a printable vinyl image of this super cute Christmas golden retriever. I got this image on Creative Fabrica, so I will link it down below. And I did use my print and cut on my silhouette to cut this out. This is regular printable vinyl. It's not clear. I know, crazy, right? But there's what the decal looks like. My phone didn't film me putting this on, but I just pulled it off the backing and put it on the tumbler, easy as that. And then I added my final coats of epoxy. So that's it for this design. I am obsessed with how this turned out. This is really like getting me into the Christmas spirit. This golden retriever just like emulates how I feel about Christmas. He's got his sunglasses on, little Christmas lights. I just love it. I love this update. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments as well. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of my new videos. And I've got 2 more 12 Days of Christmas videos coming your way, so stay tuned. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.